what's going on? Muriel from the Sunshine Family with today touching on schools in Costa Rica part 2. What I have learned as an expat mom having my kids following online school. Yes, this is a personal experience video thanks to people asking me more info about how do you integrate online schooling for your kids while living in Costa Rica. So this is obviously a video that hasn't been made before. So I'm so grateful for my audience. If you're watching and you're the one asking me for this information, thank you. And everyone watching, you know, if you have a topic you want me to cover, please share below and I'm happy to create content about it, because this channel is not for me. I made it for you. So keep the ideas and comments coming. Now, so before I'm gonna dive into online schools in Costa Rica, information, my experiences, if you're new to this channel and this video just popped up for the first time and you never saw my face, let me introduce myself really quickly. My name is Muriel. I am from the Netherlands. I moved to Costa Rica in 2018 with 2 kids who were back then 8 and 14. I'm married to Dirk. We have both an online business together since 2013. Since 2014, we started to teach our online everything we have learned ourselves, and today, fast forward, we have an online coaching programs, digital courses, and we do several things to help people to build their online business. And there's something here on my face, a little, I don't know, buzzy. I went from being a social worker in the Netherlands and my husband from an overworked restaurant owner, basically in a nutshell, in 8 years' time. Already in 2015 and 16 we replaced my job and the restaurants to work fully online. And the cool thing is, it has been the best adventure ever to quit our jobs, my job and his restaurant, and to take a leap to move to Costa Rica thanks to the internet, right? So that also brought us to having our kids doing online school today, which I never saw as an option since until COVID happened. So the little introduction on how we ended up doing choosing online schooling for our kids is actually thanks to COVID, thanks to the pandemic. We discovered new options we never saw before. Isn't that funny? Not COVID is not funny, but what I find very funny and very obvious, and for you hopefully a lesson, that our business online was born due to that my husband hit a bankruptcy with one of his 2 restaurants back then, and I was overworked and I was already doing night shifts, so I couldn't work more. So out of a crisis situation was born something new options. And so my experience of hopping over from an expat school here in Costa Rica, Futuro Verde, in Cobano, in the province Punta Arenas, close to Santa Teresa. We loved that school back then, but since COVID we totally switched in opinions. And since then my kids do both online learning. I'm gonna touch on some more tips and things I've learned, but I forgot to invite the new people to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon, because that way you receive a notification every time I upload a new video, and that's always Costa Rica Expat related. So you probably will learn a bunch of new things in my new upcoming videos. And even like I said, if you apply a suggestion below, I'm happy to create content around it if I have information to share about it, of course, or I'm willing to look into it. So yeah, thanks for considering to subscribe by that little icon or pop up above my head. So this is a very personal experience about schools in Costa Rica, especially how did we, and I will cover that now, integrate online schooling for our kids. First of all, our kids are now at this point 11 and 17. My boy is 11, has dyslexia, had a problem with reading and writing back in the Netherlands, and therefore we were grateful that at the schools in general, here the classes are way smaller than in the Netherlands. So first step as brand new expat, I still believe that kicking off with an offline school, international school, was for us for him the best thing. One, he learned new things, learn new people, learn the culture more because it's integrated in the school, but learn the language. Okay, so, but I share that in my other video. My daughter was just easily blending in everything. Now here's the thing, so we made the switch, COVID happened, I shared it in my previous video. The offline schools in the whole country were overall or closed or hopping over to online learning, which was overall, schools were not used teaching online, a disaster. It was chaotic, teachers were not trained to provide professional education using an internet connection, right? So it was like more like an emergency solution than a consistent, how do you say that, solid solution. Then I was looking, actually, because it was so stressful to learn that way, I thought, you know, they're getting behind now anyways. I just gonna pull them out. We could do that. I also shared it in my previous video because we don't have residency yet and we are not registered in the Netherlands anymore. We have an international business. We're digital nomads. So there's not like a law controlling if we have our kids pulled into school, which we honor. Of course we give our kids education, but we are like in between the gap of laws and residency and no residency, right? I also touched on that in the previous video. Now, it was very scary. Why didn't I choose for online learning at the first place? And why did I really discover that this is a blessing to be able to do right now in this time? First of all, I work from home and online myself with Dirk. So for us it was a blessing that at 8 o'clock in the morning the school bus came, we had breakfast with the kids, we woke up at 6, and between 6 and 8 we were together as a family, we prepared the kids for school and then they went, bye! And at around 4 they were home, dropped off by the school bus. So that gave us the space, welcome in Costa Rica with all the little bugs buzzing around my face. We had the freedom to have the day for ourselves, go to the beach, do some work, enjoy, and have a lot of free space for ourselves. That was perfect. I'm not going to complain about how awesome that was. The freedom that we have as online entrepreneurs, digital entrepreneurs, affiliate marketers, online coaches, the several things that we do to make a living online, gives us the freedom of choice to work from home. So home or the beach or wherever, but home is where right now, since COVID, our kids are. One, the school closed all, so they were home and we were not stressed because we could work anyways. Now, there is a big difference between waving your kids goodbye at 8 in the morning and seeing them coming home at 4 and I'm there with tea and cookies. And now we are in the situation that the kids are home all day. So it is necessary, and here's basically the answer to your question if you asked it. We had to throw a new rhythm and structure in our day-to-day family life to support our kids, to facilitate the kids. So IVLA learning platform is the school that we use. There's a link below in the description. It's not affiliated whatsoever. I'm not earning on giving this tip. I just want to credit the school because they have done so great so far. The quality of education is high. It's USA. I am Dutch. I'm super progressive and I love this education. I love the topics. I love the way of teaching. It's professional. There's a personal coach guarding your kids. So if there's anything up, there's a success coach reaching out to you on a monthly basis. If there's problems, they're there to solve it for you. It's really, really smoothly. The communication is going well. It's a solid education platform. But you need to facilitate, especially if your kids need guidance. My daughter even needed to get used to this new rhythm. What time do you get up? Like for us, you know, we're adults. We have a free will. Well, we had to get up. Let me share this. When you have kids, you're used to wake up early because there's alarm clocks for school and stuff, right? So you have this rhythm of waking up. You cannot just leave your kids the whole day in bed and they will wake up anyways early. So as parents, we knew that, you know, it's important to stick to that rhythm. And now they're not leaving for school, but now we need to facilitate learning hours. And the difference between this online learning is that it's just 2 to 3 hours per day. instead of 8 to 9 hours per day going to school. Why? Well, there's no lunch break, there's not going from A to B, class time, there's not sports, there's not art, there's not like all the things that not really necessary. That's the things that we add at the side of the online school. So sports, Nick goes 3 times per week to Muay Thai in Santa Teresa. Art, well, art, we make stuff here on our own property. Dirk is always building and constructing and painting, and Nick is helping, you know, he's that type of stuff. We have animals. Nick is always with the animals. You know, the way that education is provided is now 2 to 3 hours concentrated schoolwork, but then the work is done. And then how do you facilitate your kids? So I think it's priority that if you want to have your kids going to this online learning platform which provides the education for you, you don't have to select things to provide to your kids. That is done by the school. So it's basically facilitating. What we use is a tutor. So we found a retired teacher in our neighborhood who lives like less than 10 minutes drive from our house. She's just helping out with my son, with his classes, to extra support him, sit next to him, work side by side, like the type of what a teacher would do. I'm not qualified for that, and I don't want to be that person. So I actually outsourced someone who I'm paying to 2 mornings per week, 2 times 2 hours in the morning. So he is going there, and on those days she's doing extra stuff that needs more attention. So I believe, especially when you have younger kids or kids who need some more attention to take it from there, that it can be very valuable to find a tutor. And I believe in every community in Costa Rica there are retired teachers. Just ask in the specific Costa Rica community group you're a part of, in the area you're staying, living, or want to go, and ask around who is the best recommended tutor, and then connect with that person, go there, meet them. And that's what we have done. It was word of mouth, and I'm so grateful for this retired teacher because she's amazing. So the combination of facilitating, being able to work from home myself, if you cannot work from home yourself, well, first of all, it's the best thing I learned ever. I had to learn new skills. I did it back in the Netherlands, but even if you're dreaming about moving to Costa Rica, I believe that within the year you could make that happen. Of course, it depends on the quality of courses, training. By the way, if you want to learn more about what I'm doing to make my online business work, I created a very foundational framework, free training called the Roadmap to Freedom. You can access it by clicking the description below or here around my video. It's free. Dive into it. You know, train your brain to think in a different way and learn what I do to run my business, how it's set up, etc. So I would recommend you to learn, especially these days. It's such a benefit of being able to work from home. But for those who are for some reason not able to do it, or just don't want it because they have a very cool job, which is of course cool too, or a very nice brick and mortar business they love to go to, awesome. Hook up with other parents and make a schedule together. I know other parents around me do that. They also use homeschool or online school, and they just made a schedule. On Monday the kids are with them, on Tuesday the kids are with them, and they simply facilitate. But it really depends on the type of network, you know, the network you have around you. How reliable are those parents, and are the kids on more or less the same level? Perhaps you can share a tutor. I also know groups of people that have kids in the kind of the same age, and they share a tutor, and that tutor is having 3 or 4 kids, like small groups, and that way you can still go to your work or go to your job, your business, and still offer online schooling. But I cannot stretch enough, when you move to a country as Costa Rica or where else, where in the world, going to a school is the best way to get to know more people. However, I don't believe in the school systems anymore. I'm really obstinate according to that. I don't want the schools to be the first influence of my kids anymore besides me. if your kids go to school 8 to 9 hours per day, they are influenced 8 to 9 hours per day by teachers, by a school system that, if you ask me, keeps people dumb, very limited in knowledge about entrepreneurship, because that's what schools don't teach. They don't teach entrepreneurship and how to build a business online. They just often still teach the traditional values of learn how to get a job, and that's what you're going to do until you're retired. And because I'm an entrepreneur in heart and soul since I'm 40, and that's almost 10 years, I'm becoming 50 this year, I decided I think we're good to go. They had the foundation, they got to know friends, and this is not a pointing finger to people who do not think my way, because it's all good. I respect everyone. This is a personal information video. Remember, this is how we integrated the online school in our world, because we are working online from home. So we are home when our kids need us home. We have a small office in the house with a big table with 4 chairs, and we can all sit there. Dirk has his own office next to the bus. We have like a nice property with all kinds of constructions, right? So he loves to work there outside, and this is what we do, working as much as we can from home, which we do 100%. And this also gave you the advice on how I know others are doing it. Hook up with others who have the same values as you. Again, this is no offense to people who love school and who love the teaching system and everything. I share my thoughts and how I stand in life. And how entrepreneurship online, learning how to navigate online and how to teach people online has become my freedom of choice and location and finances. And that way also the freedom for my kids to be in a safe environment, not having to wear masks or having to go somewhere when the school shuts down because there's COVID. People having COVID, and then the schools have to close, and that way I'm not that stressed parent who was like, fuck, but I need to go to work. Where do I have to stall my kids today? Which is overall happening with if you work outside of the house. So if I think back on all the time that I invested in myself and in my business, in my education, in practicing how to run a business and earn my living that way, it was so worth it, because since COVID I was like on my knees so grateful that I already had that business up and running, so I could be home with them and facilitate them in what was an excellent choice, keeping them away from others. When everything was still unclear what was happening with that pandemic, right? So yeah, I hope that answers your question. IVLA, I really recommend it. It's international. Oh, there's an animal in that tree. I don't know what, if it's a monkey or a bird. Welcome to Costa Rica. So let me hear your questions below. If you have any thoughts, if your kids go to international schools you really, really love, share your experiences below. It's very valuable for others who are looking up information about schools in Costa Rica. My knowledge about schools in Costa Rica is as limited as Futuro Verde, an international expat bilingual school for 1.5 years, and IVLA. And I know stories of fellow parents whose kids are going to local schools, and there's happy stories there too. So from me personally, it's online IVLA experience and expat Futuro Verde school, and the other information I shared in my part 1. So with that being said, let me know if you need a part 3 and or if there's any other topic you would love me to cover, because I'm happy to. I shared that before. I'm standing in the full sun. I started in the shade. I'm so warm and it's super warm these days, so I'm gonna turn off my camera now. Thanks for watching. Leave your reply below. Thanks for the thumbs up. Share my video if you think it can benefit others, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in Costa Rica one day. And thank you for subscribing again if you just done that. I appreciate you. Bye for now. This was Muriel from the Sunshine Family.